What is up? Welcome back to Game Brigade. My name is Brian, and today we are doing another crowdfunding roundup where we talk about all the games, or not all the games, some of the better games, because there's a lot of games I don't know if anyone will actually talk about, but some of the best games that are ending on crowdfunding this week. So if you're looking for what is ending, or if you're looking for more information regarding my thoughts, this is your video. So we're going to be diving into the back or skip with the first game coming up off the list is Dceased, a zombicide game. I feel like this just launched. Remember I talked about last week, I was really sick. I didn't get a chance to talk about this when it launched. And now here we are talking about it ending. I had planned on doing a video this week discussing Dceased full in. And I normally do CMON like final recommendation videos. Maybe I'll still do it, but I will admit it was a little refreshing not talking about Dceased for the first time, or like a CMON game for the first time in a while. But let's dive into it. Here we have Dceased, a zombicide game from CMON. This is 1 to 6 players. They play in about 60 minutes on average. And this is the DC version of the zombicide IP. So we are going to be dealing with all of those DC characters: Superman, Green Lantern, Batman, Joker, etc. All the characters that you would find in a DC game. Now, this is very, very similar to any other zombicide game you would play, so make sure you're aware of that. And then in terms of recommendations, obviously this is supposed to be a quick snapshot in terms of what's ending here. I would look at this and decide, first off, you should ask yourself this question: do you own a zombicide game? Because I think there's a cap or quota to the amount of zombicide content you can have in your household. Me, I own 2 games of zombicide, and that might be too many, because zombicide as a general is very, very light. It's very casual-esque gaming style, and sometimes it can be overly too light. So be aware of that in terms of my recommendation. I am not currently backing Dceased. This is not something that I decided it was worth going into. Now, I had thought about it, but just because, it always is going to hold its value. CMON games are one of the best games that you can back more freely, so you don't really punish yourself. But if I'm not going to truly play the game, if it's going to be sitting in shrink wrap on my shelf or on my floor at some points, might not be worth it. So there you go. I'm kind of rambling now. Let's talk about what we can get here. So we have some stretch goals. One of the best things that you get when you're backing a CMON title are the unlock stretch goals. So we have a whole bunch of daily unlocks where they're going to show off different types of characters like bystanders or heroes or villains that you can play against. And then we have just the monetized stretch goals. So these are based off of the sale. Again, these are all Kickstarter exclusive. So these are the things that you would want to look at to see if this game is going to be something you're going to want to back versus potentially getting a retail. Every game that's like a CMON game, I feel like, is a shell of itself in its retail version, because you're losing so much of this content at relatively the same price. Adding in additional shipping costs where needed. We also have the optional buys. So let's just go to the rewards and take a look at that. So the base game right now, $130. They don't have the all-in pledge, which I thought they would have it by now. Normally it's right around this time they release that all-in pledge. But here we have a bunch of these optional add-ons. So you've got the Green Lantern Corps for $35. I actually do not like the way this is structured. So let me see if I can scroll down here and get this view. Okay, so we'll do it from this angle. You have the optional buys. You have the Arkham Asylum. The first thing in my recommendation, if you are considering buying anything that's CMON related, take a look and see what is Kickstarter exclusive and what's going to be retail release. You can always save yourself some money with retail, and it'll also give you a chance to play the base game if you buy just the base game, and see what is actually needed or what could be worth it once you learn the system. So Arkham Asylum, this is not Kickstarter exclusive, but you will see that they have Harley Quinn, the Joker, as well as the Riddler box tiles. Those portions are going to be the FOMO trap here located in the box. So those are Kickstarter exclusive. But the main expansion will be available at retail. I also, when I look at these kind of zombicide expansions, I want to know if they're adding any type of alternative zombie models or villains that we're going to be able to face. And you do have these, I believe they're the Titan inmate cards. So you get 6 of those. So that's going to add some more variety to your gameplay. Here we have the Gotham Knights. This is adding in a bunch more hero plays as well as those zombie heroes. And then you can see they have the Kickstarter exclusive, the Huntress, the Bat Signal, and the Zombie Robin for $60. Now, again, this will be retail. So if you're looking for just this gameplay components, you can find these at retail minus those exclusives. Here we have the Shadow Pact. This is kind of the thing I was talking about. The Shadow Pact is going to be Kickstarter exclusive. So this is going to be something that you can only get during this campaign. So I'll take a look through the stuff. What's really cool, and I like that they added this, is if you actually click on this picture here, it'll take you to the update now, which will go through completely and talk about all the things that you're getting here so you know exactly kind of what the experience is going to be. I have heard, this is not confirmed, this is just what I've heard, is that sometimes these Kickstarter exclusive expansions are not very good. They're almost like skippable in a way. So just be aware of that as well. You also have the Unkillables. This is also another Kickstarter exclusive expansion. Again, same thing. Clicking on here if you want to look into it and see what is available or if it fits your need. You have the Green Lantern Corps. I really dig the green kind of acrylic stuff that they're doing here. They started this, I believe, with the X-Men Marvel United things. And I've really, really liked what Simon has done, bringing life and movement to these minis. So this is the Green Lantern. This is not Kickstarter exclusive. This will be available at retail, but you have Sinestro and Kilowog, I believe. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Those 2 characters will be exclusive. So there you go. That's Marvel, or not Marvel, that's Dceased, a Zombicide game. I am not backing, but I know a lot of people who are. Again, my reasonings for skipping this one is that I just don't know how many Zombicide titles one could reasonably own in their home and play, over the other. Am I going to play Undead or Alive, or am I going to play Marvel Zombies? They have similar experiences with a little bit of gimmicks set in each one, and that's kind of the Zombicide thing. So there you go. That's Dceased. So the next game we're going to be taking a look at is Saw, the Jigsaw Trials. This is from Iconic Studios. 2 to 6 players, plays about 30 to 90 minutes, depending on the amount of players that you have. And this game is going to be taking the universe of Saw and giving players the opportunity to both try to escape the traps as well as setting the traps. So the way this game works is players are going to be put into the Saw universe. You are going to be a character that has been kidnapped by Jigsaw. You're going to have your little card, which has the reasonings as to why Saw targeted you for this game, and you also have your stats, like what are the things you're good at. And basically in this game you're going to be drawing cards, and these cards are going to include item cards, searching cards, puzzle cards. And so you are going to be constructing different types of traps or puzzles for people to escape. And when you've constructed a trap, and you also have the Billy card, which is the little doll that rolls around, you will say the iconic words, viewer, do you want to play a game? And if they don't want to play a game, they will take some blood damage, which is not going to be good because that's how you lose. Or they can try to escape your puzzle. But if they don't escape your puzzle and they fail in some way, they're also going to be taking damage. Now, one of the ways that they're calling this unique is that you have a Jigsaw player board. Right here, you have a Jigsaw player board, and as you take damage, you'll be replacing your body parts with these damaged body parts. And if you ever lose a body part, you'll be reflecting that on the game board. In terms of what I think here, I think this game is, in my idea, would not last long for a collection for me. I just don't see this one being something that I would want to play over and over. It seems very novelty and something I would try at a friend's house, but not something that I want to own. But that's my opinion. If we're looking at the rewards, you can see here that the collector's edition is $65, which includes the Jigsaw Trials, the Severed Hand collectible, if that's something you'd like to have in your house, the Severed Hand box, and the collector's edition slipcase. Or you can get the standard edition, which is just the board game, for £45. It's about $60 US. So yeah, that's when I'm looking at a $60 game, I'm looking for something that's going to be something that I could play multiple times over and over. While I do think this is kind of a unique concept, trying to pull in the IP of Saw, I just don't know how good the puzzles are. Now, the only thing I don't know is how good of the feeling, it's kind of hard to talk about that, but like escaping the puzzle or setting the traps, how rewarding is that action going to be? And I think that's going to be really the crux of this game being successful later on. So there you go. That is Saw, the Jigsaw Trials. So the next one we're going to be taking a look at here is Calimala. This is normally 3 to 5 players originally. Now it is 2 to 5 players with this second edition reprinting by Alley Cat Games, and this plays in about 75 minutes. Now I will tell you, looking at this game, going through this campaign project, I am incentivized to wanting to get this game. I think there is something really unique here. I like when you have a Euro worker placement game that offers a kind of a unique puzzle. It always is interesting because those games, while they look really drab or dark sometimes, can sometimes be really, really pleasant and be a hit at the table. It always depends, again, on the weightiness. Is it too heavy or too light? There's like a Goldilocks zone when it comes to these kind of games. So this game, Calimala, is set in medieval Florence, where players are taking on the roles of, I believe it's cloth makers, and you are going to be sending your workers out to different locations, different streets, to perform different types of actions. There is elements of area control, area majority in this game, because players can activate your workers by doing specific actions. So there's going to be interesting worker placement kind of gameplay elements there, especially with interactions with other players. The second edition features new artwork from Ian O'Toole, and this cover art already, like if we looked at, let's do this. If we looked at BGG, the original cover art here, and take a look, that's the old cover art. Can I please see the original? Let's see here. We can be smarter than the game, Brian. If we want to see the original, here we go. I believe this is the original cover art. Just completely different vibe setting here. Very, very much like this Ian O'Toole art. I think they nailed it out of the park with what they have here in terms of the art and the aesthetics. So really, really good job there. But also the second edition is a deluxe refined edition. So you're going to get some additional components added to that. And they have a really good thing, I believe. This is right here. So what's new? I like this, what they did here. They show the wooden discs, originally part of the components of the game. They're making them thicker and wider with some screen printing on them, which is cool. They've got the new art from Ian O'Toole, which we talked about. Single layer player boards going to a 2-layer player board, dual layer player board, giving you some more access. 3 to 5 players, I talked about, now it's 2 to 5 players, giving a little bit more access for more playability. And that's because there was the creator of this game released a kind of unreleased version of the game to allow 2 players, and now that is being brought into this 2-player game. Base game only. The Kickstarter version will include this intrigue expansion, which I heard is pretty good. New actions, asymmetrical powers, and bonus scoring. So those are always good things to have to keep the life of your Euro games going, and additional base game balancing, changing some things. So I really like this in terms of what do I get from the old game versus what do I get with the new game. I think that's really cool. They also show that the neoprene playmat and sleeves are being included in the collector's edition. So this one was very, very intriguing. Now, if you go through the comments here, which I always recommend you doing whenever you're backing a game, a lot of people are upset at Alley Cat Games. It's been a minute since I've backed an Alley Cat game, so I can't recall how they are personally, but a lot of people are talking about their past campaigns. So that's something you should always be aware of when you're backing something. Because of the comments, I am not backing this one. I'm going to be skipping this one, but I will be looking at this one in the future from like Game Nerds or Boardlandia, where you could purchase Kickstarter versions, so that my money's not tied up. I'm still interested in it. Probably be cheaper because you're also looking at here. We actually didn't cover this. You're looking at the rewards. I believe this is a $60 euro for the deluxe edition. Yeah, £60, $60, 47 pounds. The collector's edition is probably the one that a lot of people are going to be interested in because it comes with the playmat as well as the sleeves. You're looking at $87 for that. But when you combine that with the shipping costs, when we come down here, you're looking at US $17. So you're looking at here almost $100 for this Euro. It's getting a little pricey there. They're also including VAT in the total cost. So VAT is included in the cost, I believe, if I remember reading this right. I don't want to say anything that's not true, but if I remember right. Okay, yeah, so right here, they have a little star asterisk down here, and it says customs friendly means VAT paid and no import charges to you. So it means they're covering VAT, which means VAT is kind of being spread across the community. Now, this is an argument. I'm not here to get into an argument with people, but I do personally, I stand on the line that VAT should be charged in the Pledge Manager for people who are part of that, especially if you click on the community tab here and we're taking a look at the total country backers. The United States does not have a VAT charge, and you see a vast majority of the backers here are United States, but they're subsidizing those VAT charges. So, you know, hey, you can hate me if you like, but it's the truth. Leave in the comments. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. That is Calimala from Alley Cat Games. All right, so we're going to rounding out. We have just a few more games left on this one. A really quick week. This one is Misty Waters at World's Edge. This is from Dragon SC. 1 to 4 players, plays between 120 and 300 minutes. And when any time someone puts 120 to 300 minutes, and that's on their BGG link, I'm going to be leaning heavier towards the like here. You got it all over the place. You got 180 here, 240 here. They're all over the place. They don't even know how long this game is going to take to play. And whenever you do that, I'm going to think it's 300 minutes, and I'm sitting here for 5 hours playing this game. So be aware of that. But what is Misty Waters? Well, this is a pirate swashbuckling epic where players are going to be taking control of different factions, the French, the British, the Dutch, a bunch of those naval factions that you would know, and you are going to be sailing around this archipelago. Let me see if I can get a better view of it. Might have been at the top there, might have been the best view. Yeah, we'll just stick up here at the top. She's going to be sailing around this archipelago, going to different types of activities, discovering things on the islands, encountering pirates, fighting against different types of sea leviathans and krakens and megalodons, just a whole bunch of wild stuff. It's definitely a pirate epic is the best way I could describe the definition, and I think the ambition level here from this publisher is very high. You've got a lot of stuff. If we come down to stretch goals, you can see a lot of the things that are being added in, a lot of miniatures and a lot of components that are costly are being added into this campaign, but it shows that they are definitely ambitious with their overall goals. Now, if we click on the rewards, you can see they have an all-in option. It's the one that they are touting as the most popular here at 210 euros, which includes all these items. Now, remember, whenever you're on Game Found, you can specifically click on an item to see exactly what these things are if you want to talk about that. But we also have just the core box. It's at 79 euro. I think when I'm looking at all the stretch goals and all the components, $80 is a pretty good price for what I'm seeing here. This concludes all those stretch goals. You can click here and kind of get an idea of all of the total components. You got all the little ships that you're going to be getting here, all the player boards, all the cards. Overall, the price isn't bad. My concern is that the scale and the scope of this game seems very, very grand, and I get a little nervous when it comes to things like that, especially when it's a game like this is going to want to incentivize you to get all the things. You're going to want the Kraken pack with all the things, that adds gameplay replayability options to it. So this is Misty Waters. Again, very nervous here on the total time here of the scale and scope of the game. But if you're into that, if you're into those pirate grand epics and you've been looking for a game, because there hasn't been one very successful lately that kind of fills this niche, this might be for you. All right, we've only got 2 left. Wild Duo, very quick game to talk about. This is from Tracer, I believe, Tracer or something like that. This is a 2-player games between 5 and 30 minutes, and basically what this offering in here is a collection of 5 abstract 2-player games. And there's not a lot to talk about because you can look at the gameplay, you can look at the different types of components they have. They're very light games that you can enjoy with another person, another partner, or they suggest you can play at a party. You're just going to be rotating the games between all the groups, which is totally doable. But there's a bunch of different types of games here that you can be able to go through and enjoy. But what I wanted to shout this one out for is if you actually go down here to the rewards, for the price of the $40, you're getting 5 games that could be good for a majority of people. So that's something I would want to stress and talk about, because I do think that's not a bad price. I've seen similar types of games for single games at that $40 price, but this one you're going to get 5 total abstract games. Not really my thing in terms of abstract games, puzzles, but it is something to be considering. You also have the Wild Duo Deluxe, same game, but you're going to be getting this little elephant stuffy, if that's something you're interested in. It says handmade by a woman, and I wish I could say more than woman, but that's literally like how they describe it. Made by a woman, let me see here, from Zambia, in which a woman from Zambia invested more than a full working day. So, wish I could tell you more about the woman from Zambia, but it is a cute little elephant that goes with your game, and I'm sure you could have a child or a grandchild, or even yourself, which would love that little elephant from Zambia. So, ending the game, here we have Chaos Cove by Martin Wallace by Ape Games. Excuse me, 2 to 4 players, 120-minute gameplay time. And I will tell you, I was shocked at how poorly this game has done from a known designer, Martin Wallace, with art that is actually pretty good, with a gameplay system that looks pretty solid. I'm really surprised that this one is not doing as well as I expected. But this is a worker placement game where players are going to be placing their workers. I'm trying to see if I can find a better action. Here we go. Players are going to be placing their workers out to different locations, and all their workers have different types of asymmetrical powers, which is kind of cool. The unique twist to this game, and this is what they're trying to show here on the screen, is that after you're done with that round, you're actually going to pass your set of workers to the next player, and you're going to be getting someone else's workers. So everyone's going to have access to those powers throughout an entire 4 rounds of gameplay, and all 16 of these workers could potentially be played in a single game. So I think that's really cool that there's this kind of idea that you could have these workers that you can have some really powerful effects. Now your opponent's going to get those really powerful effects, and this opponent's going to get really powerful effects. The only question I have is, because the way the game works, where you're going to be attacked by barbarians and pirates at some point in the game, and they scale as the game goes up because you'll have more equipment and supplies as the game goes on, is there an imbalance with like some of your workers? Are some workers like more effective at defending, and maybe you'd like to have that later in the rounds? I don't know. That's a question I would have to know by playing the game and figuring it out. But overall, I mean, the system looks cute. The gameplay looks fine. Art looks pretty solid, and I'm just surprised at how poorly it is doing. Now, if you come down here to the Why Back Now, I always look at these things. Without your pledge, the game can be made. That's redundant. They shouldn't put that here. What I want to know I don't know, and that would be my recommendation for backing or skipping this kind of title, is this going to be retail available? They do have unlock exclusive GameFound components. If we take a look down here at stretch goals and take a look at some of the exclusive GameFound components, this monkey it hasn't funded yet. $282 left remaining to exclusively get this monkey first player token. But other than that, the only thing you're missing are these event cards, which are gameplay related, which is unfortunate. And then after that, that's about it. None of these other things are exclusive to the GameFound setting. They really don't unfortunately have stretch goals because of the lack of funding. This might have been a campaign. I hate canceling. I hate launching and canceling, but this might have been one that I might have been taking a step back as a publisher and be like, whoa, this did not get the reception we expected. Did people not see the design or see us earlier and maybe come back at a later date? and hope to get more funding so that you can unlock more stretch goals and more ideas for this game to make it a fuller, richer product at that $55 price point. So yeah, that's it. If we look at the rewards, you've got the $55 Rum Party tier. You can take a look at that one, or you can get the retailer tier. This is for those FLGs who want to pick it up and sell it in their stores. Yeah, and then you have shipping and taxes down here. You have the $19 for US backers. So expensive for what you're getting here. Might be one that I might be looking at retail. Unfortunately, this is like a whole bunch of skips this week. Not a lot of games that I'm going to give my recommendation to. In terms of pick of the week, the one that I probably am the most excited about was that Calimala one. I can't remember the name, how to pronounce it anymore. Let me pull it up. Calimala would probably be my pick of the week. I should have brought that up earlier. Just because the gameplay in the Euro area majority control looks really interesting in that one, but the overall cost is a little bit high for me. And again, I'd rather see it at retail or picking up the Kickstarter version from one of those distributors that sells it when it comes out. So other than that, that's going to wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Back or Skip, the crowdfunding roundup, where we talk about all the games ending this week and give you guys my thoughts if I'm backing or skipping, and my recommendations for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. My name is Brian. I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.